Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to Jonathan Tanner. Thanks for your continued support, John. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to episode 15. Now, last time we cleaned out the Temple of the Elk and opened a path to the Stag Lord's fortress. We could actually go take him down and finish Act 1, but we've still got a few loose ends floating around on the world map. There is a 3-month time limit on taking down the Stag Lord, but by my count, we've still got plenty of time.
It is done.
So today, I thought we'd try to clear the rest of those optional encounters, and then next time we'll go after the Stag Lord himself. As usual, we've got a lot of ground to cover, so let's get to it. Okay, so the Stag Lord's fortress should be around here somewhere. Ah, there it is, down in that little unexplored patch of land. That's actually pretty convenient. It should take us right past all 3 of the optional locations we need to visit. Two River Field, Waterlogged Lowland, and Ratnik Hill. We'll obviously start with Two River Field. Oh, let's have a quick look at it. A quiet and unremarkable area not far from the confluence point of the Crooked River and the Shrike River. No major roads cross the area, and travelers are rare. Alright, let's get in there. Okay. Looks like another fairly small map. That's pretty standard for these optional encounters. Let's start walking the perimeter and see what we find.
It is done. Check that out.
We've got a trap. Octavia?
I see something.
We apparently spotted something else, but I'm not actually seeing anything. Maybe it's covered by this trap.
I did as you asked.
Ah, there it is. Okay, looks like we got a scroll of inflict moderate wounds and some basic vendor trash. Let's keep looking around, but we'll need to do it carefully. There are probably going to be more traps.
No stopping now. Onwards.
Oh.
Search was not in vain.
More traps, just as I expected. Looks like we've got an abandoned campsite, too.
Done and done.
What's that?
At least there aren't any corpses this time.
Oh, I don't like surprises.
An ancient coin and a scroll of hurricane bow. Some assorted food items.
Oh,
Oh,
look!
and we've got one enemy in sight.
I did as you asked.
Okay, let's clear the last of these traps and then we can go after that wolf. There might be more hiding nearby.
I did as you asked. I'm not afraid.
Oh, guess he noticed us.
Let us strike as one!
Okay, that was easier than I expected, but I guess it makes sense.
March on.
This location is pretty close to Oleg's trading post, so it's probably intended for lower level characters. Like I've said before, Pathfinder Kingmaker doesn't scale to your level.
No stopping now.
Alright, I guess we're done here. That was obviously pretty easy, but at least we got some experience points out of it. Hopefully we can hit level 5 before we go after the Stag Lord.
It is done.
Okay. We've got this little unexplored path here, so let's check that out next. Old Outpost. Time and weather have left their marks on the walls of this old outpost, but it still seems to be in pretty good condition. Nice outpost place. I did get a chance to play with the unfinished kingdom management system in the previous beta, but they hadn't actually implemented outposts yet.
I need to catch my breath.
Looks like we're starting to get tired. Let's push on a little farther.
A rest is in order.
Okay, we're right next to the Waterlogged Lowland, so let's get some rest real quick and then we'll check it out. Oh, I did have a couple of viewers point out that the game doesn't seem to be calculating our rest time properly. Apparently, it's been adding extra time every time we go hunting. I'm pretty sure hunting is supposed to be a bonus action as long as you already have ample supplies. I'm pretty sure this is a glitch, so I reported it just in case. Yeah, see, it's telling us that it took 6 hours to go hunting, and... Wait, no, I think 7 hours just passed. Okay, I think that's just a visual glitch, but they definitely need to fix it. Act 1 is on a 3-month time limit, so it's important for the player to know how much time is passing. Let's take a look at the Waterlogged Lowland. A gloomy, soggy lowland leading into a swamp. Travelers avoid this place. The swamp is dangerous on its own, but it also tends to attract monsters and other unpleasant creatures. Well, that's not inaccurate. Last time we went into a swamp, we fought a troll, so let's see what they've got for us this time. Oh, it's a narrated event. Okay. We walked across the heath for a long time, yet no sight sprang up before our eyes. By turns, we discovered a verdant lowland, with several near-about springs streaming down behind another hillside. And then, in the distance, in the center of the lowland among the bush, there stood a single dry tree, a true giant. Its magnificent outline resembled an animal's paw, clawing at the sky. But what was truly remarkable, the flat landscape was dotted by mysterious dark humps. They were piled about the height of a man, and scattered around in abundance. We determined that we should explore the lowland. The further we trekked, the softer the land became. Step by step, heathgrass gave way to moss, low-growing shrubs and ferns, and then sloshy puddles of stinky swamp water. The muddy ground sucked at our feet, and soon our party was jumping from hassock to hassock. Finally, we reached the first group of mysterious humps, and learned that they were no mere hills, but dugout dwellings. We moved with great care towards the center of the lowland, and there the real swamp began. On the way toward the mysterious giant tree, we saw the foggy outline of another hut, this one much bigger, and surrounded by small clay statues. We examined the surrounding dwellings. Inside, the dugouts were frowsy and dark, darker than holes, and filled with absolute desolation. There were no windows in these mud walls, no furniture or other homely items, except for the odd piece of tattered wicker. But every dwelling had a large hollow dug right in the center of the dirt floor, like a fire pit, but taking up the greater part of the space. They were filled with standing water and reeked beyond description. We would not retreat and moved ever forward toward the tall tree, determined to visit the big hut on our way there. We walked slowly, carefully choosing our way, keeping to drier ground as much as possible. But the further we went, the more difficult it became, and soon we were wading waist-deep through the cattails. Frogs croaked loudly as we peered anxiously into the cloudy water, struggling to make out what shadows flitted along the bottom. Suddenly, Lindsay staggered, spit out an oath, and flailed her arms. She'd made a wrong step, and unable to pull out her foot, she called out loudly and began to sink into the vile green slush. Wary of another of us getting sucked into the bog, we decided to form a living chain. Standing next to each other and holding hands, we began to pull up our fellow traveler. Lindsay's head was sucked below the deathly icky water, but our hands were just in time. We pulled with all our strength, and she emerged, gasping above the frothy muck. Lindsay was rather green by the time we'd lifted her out, but found the strength to thank us once she'd caught her breath. You know, someone should probably be carrying her. The insatiable bog gurgled hungrily after us, but we didn't look back. Sodden and weary, we finally made it back to solid ground, and a palace of sorts rose before our eyes. A spacious hut made of mud like the rest, but decorated with pebbles, bones, cattail spikes, and snail shells. In front of the palace was a wide and shallow reservoir. Its green water reflected the leaves of huge ferns and primitive clay figurines. The buzzing of gnats was nearly deafening. We were not far from the center of the swamp, and a firm and steady path led there through the thick bushes. At its end, that tall, dry tree stretched mightily upwards, clawing at the firmament. We carefully examined the clay figurines, trying to fathom who they might portray. Goggle eyes, flat heads with no necks, ears, or chins. Ugly long legs, unnaturally bent. These sculptures could only be the work of boggards. Primitive, cruel boggard tribes had inhabited the swamps of Garund and Avestan since the olden days. Pitiless to others and to each other, they were led by the darker instincts of their insane priest-kings. They are known to grow young fry in the pools inside the houses. We peeked inside the hut. The palace was twice the height of the other huts, and its entrance was wide enough that 3 could walk abreast. The walls were decorated. An unknown builder had scratched drawings in the clay while it was still wet. The faded scrawl depicted huge amphibians devouring smaller figures, some frog-headed, others not. 3 of the 4 rooms boasted large holes filled with water, just like the other dwellings, though here there were steps descending into them, cut into the dirt. In the furthest room, we found equipment decorating the walls. Leather armor, spears, clubs. To our surprise, a number of items were well preserved. The hut was clearly deserted, so we felt no shame in taking some of it with us. Looks like some vendor trash and a small amount of gold. We moved forward, seeing we'd drawn so near our goal. It was ever so lovely to walk once again along the well-trodden path. Our soaked clothes imagined being dry, and our mood at once lifted. The bushes that bordered the path seemed to wave at us amiably, with their juicy green leaves and shiny bright red berries. A fresh wind puffed away the rotten smell, and it finally felt like the swamp might be nearly behind us. But then the wind stopped blowing, and the thorny branches continued to move, and we heard a loud shout. Octavia, who was watching our rear, pointed to a surging, crawling wall of green, filling in the path behind us. The surrounding thicket was coming to life. Its branches reached out with a soft swishing sound. Drops of sap oozed from their thorns, gleaming in the emerald dusk. The path was disappearing. There was no way back, and the clear space ahead was closing. We ran forward as fast as our legs could carry us, flying towards the closing passage. As any experienced traveler can tell you, sometimes you walk and sometimes you run. The branches snatched at our backpacks and clothes, and the sprouts tangled at our feet, but we slipped their grasp. We were too quick. Finally, after what seemed an endless trek, we came upon the gigantic tree that had so intrigued us from the very beginning. Lo and behold, we saw an idol cut in its trunk, a huge, horned, 3-eyed toad. Its googly eyes made it look both cruel and dumb, almost idiotic. Its muzzle hung half open, sharp-toothed with several hanging tongues. Deep brown streaks oozed from the corners of its mouth. We tried to glean what sort of idol it might be. Sadly, we failed to glean whom the idol was devoted to, but it was surely not one of the lighter gods. But what is this? While we were examining the idol, a large bright blue dragonfly came out of a hollow in the tree and sat invitingly on the very tip of one of our noses. It was so remarkably strange. It didn't react to our movements and seemed quite content to remain where it sat. They've basically presented us with two extreme options, and as a chaotic good inquisitor, we fit right between the two. I'm not really comfortable with eating the dragonfly or destroying the idol, not without more information. I think we'll just play it safe for now. We thought better of interfering with the sinister idol and continued our journey. Why awaken mysterious ancient forces? We turned around and went back, this time avoiding the flesh-eating bush. Well, that was a bit of a dud, but at least we got some gold out of it. I will say I'm very curious what would happen if we did actually try eating that dragonfly. Maybe I'll run an evil character next time. Alright, let's check out Ratnik Hill. A notable hill that got its name and its nasty reputation when rats swarmed it in huge numbers. Huh. That's a bit strange. If they actually included rats in the game, you'd think we would have encountered some by now. Considering that we're right next to the old sycamore, I'm guessing we're up against something a bit stronger than a few rats. A mutilated body. Looks like it was eaten by some rodents. Okay, I'm pretty sure Kingmaker doesn't have dire rats, but they did just add swarm-based enemies. Oh, speaking of which, they actually updated the Fangberry Cave encounter with 3 spider swarms. It's a nightmare.
Check that out.
Okay, well, rat swarms don't set traps, so I think it's safe to say we're up against something a bit different. Maybe some sort of ratmen or were-rats.
I did as you asked.
Let's check the difficulty on that trap. Oof, 21. Okay, this is definitely a mid-level encounter. We'll need to be on our guard.
It is done.
I see something. Done and done.
What's that?
These guys aren't messing around.
I did as you asked.
What's that?
Looks like we've got a cave entrance here, but let's finish clearing this map first. All these traps are really making me nervous.
I did as you asked.
Check that out.
On the bright side, we're getting a lot of experience points.
Done and done.
Oh, we've got another corpse.
My search
What's
was not
that?
in vain.
I did as you asked.
Ah, just another ancient coin. Unfortunately, it turns out there is an NPC who wants these things, but you don't actually meet him until Act 2.
Now I'm embarrassed. I've broken a nail.
Come on, Octavia.
I did as you asked.
There we go. Third time's the charm.
No stopping now.
Okay, I think we're clear. Let's get back to that cave entrance and get ourselves set up with some buffs. What is this? Oh, wow. Lindsay's sick. I guess that must have happened during that swamp encounter. Fortunately, it shouldn't hurt her ability to cast spells or play music, so we should be fine. We'll have to fix it next time we camp. Right now, we need to get ourselves ready for a potentially difficult fight. Now, maybe I'm just overthinking things, but the corpse with the descriptive text, the high difficulty traps, the close proximity to the old sycamore, I'm picking up a lot of warning signs here.
I wrote it like I saw it. I won't let you down.
Yes, I'm still here.
I tire of waiting.
Oh, sorry. Was lost in thought.
I'm beginning to think that we might be headed into another Nightmare Wisp scenario, so let's go all out here.
There is no greater satisfaction than overcoming a challenge. That is, of course, until one day the challenge overcomes
What's the holdup? And Lindsay was called for.
The end draws near.
One shouldn't brag about a big sword if they can't carry one.
Okay, I think that's everything we can do. Let's get Amiri restocked, and then we can head inside. Actually, you know what? I don't normally do this, but let's set up a quick save. I really don't want to have to disarm all those traps again. Okay, good luck, heroes. Looks clear so far. Oh.
I need inspiration.
Okay, we are up against were-rats.
Let us strike as one!
I'm not sure we're equipped to fight lycanthropes, but we'll give it a shot. First things first, let's get some death ponies on the field. We'll also need Lindsay to cue up the inspirational soundtrack. And let's get Octavia to hit this guy with a color spray. It won't do much to him, but it should slow him down a little. Alright, let's have Harem burn off a Bane spell. Oh, shoot. We've got another were-rat, and our death ponies are on the roof. Okay, let's try hitting one of these guys with hideous laughter. Oh, looks like the death ponies are actually engaging. Let's get some more out there. That color spray did not work the way I thought it would. On the bright side, looks like hideous laughter landed. Let's try it again. We also need Octavia to queue up another attack spell. Oh, shoot. That is not good. Okay, is that guy an alchemist, or is he just throwing a pot at us? Yeah, that's an alchemist. Okay, we're in a lot of trouble here. If we can't neutralize that guy quick, then he's going to wipe out the entire party.
Tear them apart!
Oh, come on. Amiri's still blinded? We're gonna lose this whole fight because of that color spray spell. I've gotta say, that really annoys me. I only cast the spell because the wording implied it only affected enemies. Okay, Amiri's back in it.
They go down! Hey!
We might still be able to make this work. Oh, nice. We've got one down. 2 more to go. Looks like the alchemist is neutralized. Let's get Harem on healing.
I can't keep this up much longer.
let's see if we can keep this guy down, too.
Survive. I always survive.
Oh, this is not good. Alright, Octavia, I really need you to hit with this. Harem, get Amiri back on her feet.
I require healing.
Alright, the were-rat's back down, but, the alchemist is back up. Okay, everyone switch targets.
Repent.
Well, except for Harem. We need him to keep tossing out healing spells. Might as well drink some potions, too.
Bring it.
Do not falter!
We're, missing these guys an awful lot. Let's try hitting him with Bone Shaker. Lindsay's out of spell slots, so let's get her back on music. Come on, guys. We're at number 2 is back up. Let's have Harem start fighting defensively. I am still worried about that alchemist, though. Oh, really? Okay, Harem is very dead. We do have one Scroll of Rays dead, but honestly, I don't think we're going to survive this fight. We're missing on almost every attack. Alright, let's have Retcon back off and, oh.
Much longer.
Okay, Lindsay's dead. Yeah, we're not winning this. Not that I'm actually going to give up. We'll go down fighting. Amiri never activated her rage. Okay, what can we do here? Bless spell? Never mind, we are dead. Well, at least it was exciting. Now, let's switch off to an alternate timeline where Retcon never entered this horrible cave. Onward, my friends! We have no time to waste with filthy caves. The Stag Lord awaits.
It is done.
Don't worry, we will come back. Once we've gained a level or two. I think that was all the optional encounters we've discovered so far. Well, we've still got 10 minutes on the clock, so let's start heading for the Stag Lord's fortress and see if anything catches our eye. Oh, hey, that was quick. Riverine Rise. A prominent landmark, Riverine Rise can be seen from afar. A riverbank swelled here, forming a quaint, picturesque hill. Well, that certainly sounds pleasant. What are the odds that... Oh. Well, hold that thought. Okay, it looks like we're up against kobolds, but We must be just outside their detection range. This is kind of weird.
Here!
Alright, well, we're going to be resting right after this, so let's use the rest of our buffs. Oh, and we should also get Harem set up with that Remove Disease spell. We're going to need that for Lindsay. Okay, let's cue the music, summon up some death ponies, and get this started.
Just letting the ink dry.
We should move. We can do it!
So much easier than fighting were-rats. Nice. A little experience and some easy loot. Actually, we're already here, so I'll take care of the resting off screen and then we'll get back out to the world map. And we're back. Our resting was successful, Lindsay is cured, and we're ready to keep moving.
Legend.
Oh, this looks like a special encounter. Having reached the edge of the milky white blanket, we stopped. I have never seen a denser, thicker fog in all my life. Stretching my hand forward, I could hardly see the outline of my fingers, and if my arms were as long as my companions, I don't think I'd even see my elbows. We exchanged hesitant looks. It would be impossible to find one's way through this haze. One of us used magic to analyze the fog. It was clear the gloom was of unnatural origin, but who or what could have spawned such a thing? We tried to light our way with a torch. The fire colored the fog in homely, warm tones, but this did not improve the visibility. Fortune favors the brave. Having formed a single line, with our hands on each other's shoulders, we moved forward carefully. Soon the air became so damp it was hard to breathe, and we were soaking wet in the blink of an eye. With each step, our eyes told us less and less, until finally we were completely blind. It was positively impossible to continue in this way. After a roll call, having made sure all of us were in place, we tried to turn around and walk in the opposite direction. Alas, we may as well have had our eyes closed. Stumbling and cursing anything and everything, we strayed for half the day. It was only by sheer luck that we managed to come clear of that place, and exactly in the spot we started out from. Tired, wet, and hungry, we swore that there was nothing that would make us walk back into that haze. Well, I think that went about as well as we could have expected it to. Okay, so we can't get through the mist until we've killed the Stag Lord, but I would still like to get to that optional encounter. Aha, there we go. Alright, let's check it out. Brace yourselves, heroes. Given the remote location, we're probably in for another tough fight. This is it. We will all freeze to death. I agree, Harem. The snow is very lovely. Anyway, this looks like another small map, so we should be done pretty quickly. Let's walk the perimeter.
It is done. No stopping now.
Okay, nothing this way. Let's check up on that hill.
Onwards.
There we go. Looks like we're up against a large water elemental. Really now.
March on.
I think we can safely assume that's a placeholder. Or maybe it's a water bear. Alright, let's get our guys set up with some buffs, and I'm pretty sure we can handle this.
The end draws near.
Unless there's more than one of them.
This is my path.
You can count on me.
I stand ready.
Grotus awaits us.
Okay, let's do this. Hopefully we don't wipe twice in one session. Looks like it's alone, but let's call in some death ponies, just in case.
We should move.
Who will prevail? Does it matter?
I'm not actually sure what kind of magic works on this thing, but let's try a snowball. Sonic damage might work too. I think we missed with our first volley of spells. Alright, let's just keep throwing things at it. Oh, nice. That one hit. 20 damage, too. Not bad.
This won't kill me.
Amiri's taking a beating. Let's hit her with a healing spell. Nice. Okay, well, that wasn't nearly as hard as I thought it would be. Let's see what we got. We can clearly see a corpse over there. We've also got a cave, but it doesn't look like we can do anything with it. Looks like we've got 3 scrolls of remove blindness and 2 potions of restoration. Nothing our clerics can't do, but at least Octavia gets a new spell. Alright, I think that's everything. We just hit the 40-minute mark, so I think that brings us to a pretty good stopping point for the episode. Granted, I would have liked to accomplish more, but we cleared 3 encounters and got ourselves killed once. I think that's plenty. We'll pick up here next time as we finish exploring the world map and finally lay siege to the Stag Lord's fortress. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing the Pathfinder Kingmaker beta, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official YouTube channel, or the original crowdfunding campaign over on Kickstarter. Links are in the description.